You do it, mother's words as Ross Taylor answers Samoa call speaking to ICC Digital ahead of Samoa's final ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2026 push. Ross Taylor outlines his goals in new colors after answering the call from the 685 in April 2022, and assured Ross Taylor was ready to leave his playing days behind him, amassing more than 18,000 runs for New Zealand, winning a ICC World Test Championship, and taking his talents across the world in domestic T20 circles. The then 38-year-old bowed out of international cricket, was appointed a companion of the New Zealand Order of Merit, and rode off into the sunset. Almost 3 years later, a plan was hatched without Taylor's knowledge, poolside at a bar in Apia. The Samoan men's team, having shocked the field to claim a sub-regional East Asia Pacific T20 World Cup qualifier, could have been excused for basking in their own glory and partying into the early hours of the next morning. And while celebrations continued well past midnight, having snuck to victory in the final over of the final match of a double round-robin tournament, the team in blue instead harbored loftier ambitions, mapping out a blueprint for the second stage of T20 World Cup qualifying with Taylor in their ranks. So under wraps were the conversations that Taylor himself was none the wiser. It was only a call weeks later to check in on a mate, New Zealand and Samoa international Murphy Sua, that revealed Samoa's secret. And after talking to Sua, alongside the wisdom from his late mother Lote, Taylor moved to his retirement reversal. Murph said, "Thanks for calling, but I've also got to run something else past you," Taylor began to retell in an ICC Digital exclusive. Samoa qualified in August for a T20 World Cup qualifier, in Oman, in 2025. Would you be interested in playing? And my initial thoughts were, thanks but no thanks, if I'm honest. I'd had my time, and I was picking up my daughter from school at the time, and then I walked. I told him I was probably a 5% chance of playing, and by the time I'd walked from the car to pick her up at her classroom I was at 25%. I rang him and I said I'm at 25%, but my mum at the time was sick. She had kidney failure, so I had the opportunity to run it past her before she passed away. She just said, "Up to you, son. You do it." It is through his mother's heritage, having been born in Samoa, that Taylor qualifies, though the right-hand batter had to wait out a 3-year international standout period, dated back to his final appearance for the Black Caps. The idea of giving back to Samoa, a nation that had such an influence in his upbringing, proved an opportunity too special to pass up. I think Mum instilled that Samoan culture in us from a young age. "We spoke Samoan when we were growing up," he said. "I was fluent until I probably got to boarding school and lost it a bit." Mum was always a proud Samoan, but proud to be a Kiwi as well. In probably May this year, we, talking to friend and Samoan head coach Tarun Netula, were in constant dialogue. And then the draw came out, and then I started to have to weigh up the pros and cons. All my friends and family thought it was a great idea. Then I just had to get my head around being able to be physically able to contribute, and once I knew that it was a pretty easy decision, no one didn't think it was a good idea. Taylor has put time into East Asia Pacific cricket pathways in the past in different guises, joining Sua in support on Samoan tours, and also notably for Papua New Guinea in a coaching role under Dipak Patel in World Cricket League Championship and Intercontinental Cup campaigns in 2017. Ready to impart his knowledge and experience that goes back to before T20 cricket was even a recognized format, Taylor will now share a dressing room with Samoans who only know a cricket world with the 41-year-old in it. "I always wanted to give back to a game that's been good to me, and I always sort of thought it would be in a coaching capacity, and going and doing clinics, and things that I've already done," Taylor continued. "But I never thought I'd be back in this capacity." For Samoan cricket, this is the highest tournament that they've ever been to, so it's obviously a big deal for the players and the administrators in the country itself, and hopefully I can play my little part in contributing to that. You've got some youngsters who are 17 or 18 just coming through, and weren't even born when I made my debut for New Zealand. I think that's pretty cool and adds to the story. Samoan squad member Noah Mead was born after the inaugural Men's T20 World Cup in 2007, which Taylor featured prominently, top scoring for the Black Caps in a semi-final defeat to Pakistan. Curtis Heinem Nyberg's parents likely enjoyed parental leave watching the tournament, having only brought him back from the hospital the month before. Looking back on the early days of T20 cricket, Taylor is in disbelief as he stands one step away from another global tournament campaign 18 years later. It's been awesome for the game of cricket to make it grow. I'm sure in South Africa, in 2007, I never thought that I'd still be playing cricket at this level and having the opportunity to maybe even go to another World Cup, he added. A lot of water's got to go under the bridge before then, but I think it's a great opportunity. And I think, for cricket to be a truly global game, I think they need the likes of Samoa and Italy and the likes to continually grow organically in these countries and hopefully be competitive once they do get to these tournaments as well. It's an island nation of a couple of 100,000 people fighting to get to the global stage. The resources aren't there, but when it comes down to pride and passion, I think there won't be anything unturned that we won't try and do to get there, and pride and passion is one of those that will be there in abundance. Taylor is not the only player to answer the T20 World Cup qualification call from the 685, a beloved nickname of Samoa that comes from the county's dialing code. It's a nod to the messages and calls that bounce across the Pacific Ocean, with many of Samoan heritage having settled in New Zealand, Australia and other parts of the world. New Zealand, international Sean Solia returns to the fold, having previously captained the Samoan national team, while Eli Tugaga bolsters the team's bowling ranks. Taylor is under no illusions as to the difficulty of Samoa's task in Oman, with the side pooled against the hosts and regional rivals Papua New Guinea in group stage action. Both coming back from the last T20 World Cup, Taylor believes his side has the hardest draw across the 3 groups and 9-team tournament, needing to beat one of them to move to the Super 6 stage of the qualifier. 3 T20 World Cup spots are available for next year's tournament for the qualifier, with the likes of UAE, Nepal and Malaysia also in the mix. I've always played things down my whole career and I don't see anything changing. I think first and foremost is to get out of that group stage, Taylor continued. I'm sure they'll both, Oman and Papua New Guinea, be champing at the bit and don't want us to spoil their party. But if we could get through there, then I think it's definitely an opportunity for us to maybe create some history. I don't see this as just putting a hat on, making this World Cup. Obviously, that's the end goal, and we want to get there. But I think it's about giving these players experience. The next World Cup's here in New Zealand and Australia in 2028. It's about giving guys experience that they can keep getting better, keep learning and be even better for that tournament. But that's not stopping us wanting to get to that World Cup in Sri Lanka and India next year. As mentioned by Taylor, the qualification of Italy has fueled Samoa's aspirations, and he admits he has reached out to the Azuri Brains Trust not only in congratulations, but also for insight. I've spent a little bit of time with Burnsy, Joe Burns, as well and Kevin O'Brien, who was part of their coaching setup, Taylor revealed. I was sending him messages and things and it was awesome. That's what cricket needs. I think with the addition of these former players or up and coming first-class cricketers, they're just strengthening the squad depth but also passing on their knowledge. And I suppose that's where I come into it and hopefully I can do that, for Samoa. As for mapping out his personal goals at the tournament, Ross tipped his cap to others of his generation continuing to perform on the T20 circuit. I got a message from Samit Patel the other day, and I said the way that he and Ravi Bopara have been playing in the Blast like that has given me inspiration. I'm looking up to them, he said. There are a lot of players that are in their 40s that are still doing well. Faf du Plessis and others like that. Obviously they've continued to play at the highest level. I'm not as strong and fast as I used to be, but at the same time you're wiser and you just get things done. And as I said, I've known for a little while now or so, the last couple of months, it's been nice to get in and train as hard as I can and get into the gym, so touch wood everything holds up. Samoa's campaign in Oman begins on October 8 when they take on the hosts in El Amarat, before a meeting with Papua New Guinea the next day. 2025 Men's T20 World Cup Asia, East Asia Pacific Regional Final. Top 3 teams after Super 6 stage qualify for T20 World Cup 2026. Group A. Malaysia, Qatar, United Arab Emirates. Group B. Japan, Kuwait, Nepal. Group C. Oman, Papua New Guinea, Samoa.